So something my dad used to always do is he would write to celebrities or people he thought were cool in kind of hopes of returning an autographed picture. So growing up in a house, our basement was filled with pictures like what's behind me that he would write to anyone, kind of just a straight shot in the dark, and just say, hey, I'm a big fan of yours. Is there any chance I can get an autographed picture? So over the years, mail would come to the house of autographed pictures of Jack Nicholson or Arnold Palmer, Tiger Woods, whoever, big actors, whoever he liked. The house was always just filled with autographed pictures. So collecting sports memorabilia is definitely nothing new to me, and it's something that I've always been passionate about because my dad shared a similar passion. So working in the golf industry, the biggest name for putters at the time would be Scotty Cameron. And Scotty Cameron is still a huge influential putter maker that I would say hundreds of tour pros are using Scotty Cameron putters. And it's something that, as a kid, you're 12 years old working at a Nevada Bob's, or 14 years old, you can't afford a $300, $400, $500 putter. But it's one of those things that you're like, one day when I have the money, I'm going to afford to buy myself a Scotty Cameron putter. So working at the golf store as a kid, I really developed a passion for these types of putters. So now moving fast forward into my sales career, I've been fortunate enough to buy a lot of cool Scotty Cameron stuff to kind of further that collection. And what I kind of found out about it is that some of these head covers or putters became quite limited, and there was a market of people that wanted to buy these things, and it kind of turned into a craze. Like there's so many crazes within the collectibles, from either like sports trading cards or Pokemon cards or Beanie Babies, Pogs, whatever the hot topic is of the time. There's a collectible market for it, and there's a lot of people in there willing to make some money on it. So I started out just collecting stuff that I thought these head covers were so cool. They were aftermarket, they were limited, you couldn't get them at the store. There was a process in acquiring these things. So for example, you had to be a member of the Scotty Cameron website. Within there, you get access to very limited head covers and putters and limited releases, bags, shirts, that type of stuff. So let's say it's St. Patrick's Day. Scotty Cameron's releasing a St. Patrick's Day cover. They go on sale for 5 minutes and then they're completely sold out. And let's say you're a huge St. Patrick's Day fan, but you didn't get the cover. Now, where am I going to get that cover? So it turns out on Facebook, there was a bunch of different Facebook marketplace groups, private groups that just buy and sell Scotty Cameron stuff. So when I found this, kind of just my eyes opened up so wide that I'm like, oh my gosh, all this stuff I've been missing out on. People are buy, selling, and trading it all over the world. So I just had a very small collection at the time, maybe one putter, 2 head covers that I'd kind of acquired from friends. But now I have this Facebook group of almost endless opportunities of Scotty Cameron stuff that I can buy. So the collection started growing. The more cool stuff I saw, I started wheeling and dealing and trying to get deals from people that were trying to sell it. And then, let's say a ballpark Scotty Cameron head cover aftermarket would sell anywhere from $100 to $300 US. And that's just for a head cover. That there was, like baseball cards at the time were, hundreds or thousands of dollars, very similar. That, the value is all in the eye of the beholder. And what I found was there was a big market and some big money being spent on Scotty Cameron stuff. So let's say you want to buy a Scotty Cameron putter. You go to Golf Town or your local pro shop. Typically, they start at $499, $500 to get a Scotty Cameron putter, and that's kind of the high end. There's some comparable models, but that's kind of like the high end, the benchmark for top end putters. What I didn't know is, let's say a tour putter or a tour player like Jordan Spieth. He's a Titleist staffer and he uses a Scotty Cameron, a trusty Scotty Cameron he's used since he was a junior. Now that Scotty Cameron isn't one that would come from a Golf Town. That's something that would come right off of a tour van or from the Scotty Cameron gallery. So it might look very similar to a putter that you would get at a Golf Town or any one of those, your local pro shop, but it's the handcrafting is just so different materials, and even though it looks the same, there's a lot of different components that make it an even higher end putter. So let's say you wanted to buy a model like Jordan Spieth's. It's called a Scotty Cameron 009. So it's if you're familiar with Jordan Spieth's putter, I'll throw a picture up so you can get a look at it. If you were to buy, say, a replica or a similar model, they start at $3,500 US. So, to someone that's never seen putters like that, whoops. Oh, there goes my golf ball. So like I said, these putters go for $3,500. Now, to the average person, that might sound crazy that you're going to spend $3,500 on a putter. Well, $3,500 might be like $20 out of someone's pocket. It's all relative to their what they do for a living. So then I started to find out that there were some quite affluent people within the Scotty Cameron community that buy and sell some expensive stuff. And what I started to notice on these Facebook groups is that there were a few people that sold a lot of stuff. That every week someone would have something new, and it kind of was just like a repetitive cycle. That I started to think, is this what this person does for like a living or a part-time job? Is they just sell the Scotty Cameron stuff? So let's say you wanted to buy a head cover off of a website. Like I said, this limited release, back to my St. Patrick's Day analogy, is that the putters released for a head cover $75 US. Because it's so limited in demand, there's only 100 of them, 200, 300, 400, 500 of them, that a lot of times they, right off the bat, they would increase in value. So you could buy it for $70 and someone's willing to pay $150 just because they missed out on getting it. So that's kind of where a light went off in my head, thinking that, you know what, there's actually some money to be made within this. And you know, going back to my sales career, working in retail, I've always just sold stuff. That I like acquiring things, but I think I almost like selling things more. Just kind of, it's a thrill to me. It's fun to me. It doesn't matter what I'm selling. If it's on Kijiji and I'm selling clothing or old sports equipment or a desk or a bed, that for me, just selling is fun and I enjoy it. And to have a little bit of extra cash, I think, you know, most people would agree that that's not a terrible thing. So that's when I started to see that, you know what, there's some people making money in this. How cool would it be if I could try to make some money selling Scotty Cameron stuff? So from there, the passion kind of went from collecting and trading and gathering cool things to, you know, what type of profit could I flip off of my collection? Because at the end of the day, you can only use one putter. So, you know, throughout my collecting days, you know, I had as many as 10 putters that would kind of just sit in a golf putting room, but they're more conversation piece and no one was coming over to talk about them. So I'm like, what am I doing with all of this inventory of golf stuff? Let me sell it to someone that might want it more than me. So then I started scouring all these Facebook pages to see if anyone had a good deal out there, or trying to hop on these limited releases to buy it right away, or, you know, the local buy, sell, Kijiji, those types of places. And lo and behold, I kind of came across this home run that I was on Kijiji, and I see in an ad for staff bags. So like a big tour staff bag that you'd see guys on the PGA Tour use, but these were limited Scotty Cameron staff bags, and this ad had like 6 or 7 of them. And, you know, with these things being valuable, there's a lot of fakes out there, no different than anything. There's fake computers, there's fake iPads, there's fake cell phones, well, there's fake Scotty Cameron putters and accessories and head covers and bags. So seeing this ad of these bags, this is someone that shouldn't be selling this stuff on Kijiji. It should be being sold on eBay or these buy sell pages that they had a very expensive inventory of Scotty Cameron gear that I knew right away they wouldn't sell it on Kijiji, because there's just not that many people willing to spend big bucks on these types of bags. So the ad didn't have any prices, but it said please contact. So I said, you know what, I'm going to contact this person and see if I can maybe help them sell this type of, or these bags. So to give you an idea, these bags would have cost anywhere from $2,000 to $5,500 US. So, you know, do the conversion on that if you're in Canada. That these are some, you know, these bags are the price of a car. So I started talking to this person and I wanted to get the story, you know, how did you get them? Why are you selling them? What's going on? So it turns out the lady that was selling them was from a city just a couple hours away, and she had this huge collection. So I guess what had happened is her husband was a big time collector of Scotty Cameron stuff, and they were divorced. So when they went to the divorce settlement, I guess he didn't show up and she acquired everything. So now she has this huge inventory, this huge collection of Scotty Cameron memorabilia, but she would prefer the cash and she wants to get rid of basically everything. So I talked to her about the bags and I actually helped her sell a couple. So I was able to sell a couple of these bags to some big collectors, and she got some money back. I got a very small commission out of it. And now she knows, okay, this guy's kind of a real player within this Scotty Cameron community. So I ended up making a drive up to go see her to take a look at her entire collection, because not only did she have a couple bags, she had hundreds of head covers, and these head covers were from anywhere from 5 years to 15 years old, and they were quite limited. And you know, her husband had invested some really good money into this type of collection, so it was her prerogative to just sell everything as fast as she can to just move it. So I had met with her and I kind of explained that in order to sell all the stuff that she has, it's best to sell it in kind of a lump. That, you know, it could take us a couple years to sell everything individually to get the most value for it. So her and I had kind of gone back and forth, and I'm trying to think, like, you know, could I buy all of this stuff and essentially flip it in the terms of the Scotty camera community or any buy sell, whether you're in sneakers or whatever. There's people that are called flippers. And if for whatever reason flippers have a bad light on them, that flippers are more interested in the money and the profits off of these types of products than the actual hobby. So in my defense, I was a hobbyist and I collected this stuff for the pure enjoyment, and I still collect and I still have things that I think are really cool that I really just love Scotty Cameron, but I would love to work in, make money in things that you're passionate about. So being able to possibly buy some Scotty Cameron stuff, keep what I wanted, and then sell the rest off, to me, that was a wicked business opportunity. So her and I had gone back and forth, and I ended up acquiring over 200 head covers and 5 more of these staff bags. So the investment from myself was pretty big, that it was in the 5 figures of buying this inventory. So I had a partner come in with it. He's actually the same partner as he is on New 9 Golf, and we bought this entire collection. So on one Thursday afternoon, I drove home and I had these massive containers full of head covers in these bags. So that's when kind of the work begun. Then I'm like, okay, how am I going to sell all this stuff? So we did kind of what I told her would be the hardest way to sell it, and sell it everything individually. I had the access at the time to these Facebook groups that I would post a head cover, take a picture of it, and someone would buy it within days. So I was selling, tons of stuff via Facebook that, to me was no different than I have a whole bunch of stuff at my house I'm not using. I'm going to sell it on Kijiji. So long story short, we were all able to make some good money. So I would say it was close to a 400 to 500% profit of just buying and selling head covers. I won't get into the exact numbers of it, but you could have bought a very nice brand new car, and like a nice brand new car with just what we had made off of selling these head covers. So at the time, it was a wicked side job that I'm buying and selling, things that I am just so passionate about, and that, my full-time job was just something I did to get by through the day. Then when I got home, I started grinding, just trying to sell these head covers. So this was maybe now 3 or 4 years ago, and I would say it was at the height. It was kind of when all these Facebook groups had just started to come out, that these Facebook groups have 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 2,500, 3,000. Now these pages, there's more people, what they call these flippers, that are into it for the money than the hobby. So there's way more people trying to make money off of this than there is collecting, which in turn has brought the value of a lot of things down. So I would say I got in at the right time and I sold at the right time. With what my intentions were was trying to make some money. So what I did find at the height of this is that these head covers, they're worth, to me, they're almost currency, that I could use these to trade for other things. So let's say someone was interested in a head cover, and I'm selling the head cover for $300. They would ask, do you want anything in trade? Maybe they have a head cover that I might like, or a golf club, or those type of things. So at the time I played Pro V1 balls. I said, you know what? I'll trade you this head cover for X dozen Pro V1 balls. Pro V1 balls are $60. I want $300 for my head cover. I'd say, you know what, you're giving me balls, give me a little bit of extra. I want 6 dozen Pro V1 balls at $60 a dozen for my $300 head cover. At the time, they were like, sure, that works for them. Maybe they get it at cost, or they write it off for business purpose, whatever. We'll do a straight trade. What they don't know is that I was only into that head cover for about $30. So I'm basically taking my $30, putting it into a head cover that was worth a lot more than $30, and trading straight across. So I did this countless of times, that I would upgrade to irons, upgrade my putter, memorabilia, you name it. Anyone within the golf community, I was just trading head covers. So the raw material cost was fairly low, and people would give me a much higher trade value for it. So at the time, it was a really fun business to be a part of. Since I've sold out of everything, so now I kind of just have obviously the cash from selling all this stuff. But it was so much fun to buy and sell. And like I said, now there's just not as big of an opportunity to make money, because there's more people willing or trying to make money than there is collecting. Where when I sold, it was the opposite. There was more people collecting than trying to buy and sell. Stay tuned, check out our website, new9golf.com, see what hats are in stock, and do your best to support the golf community. Thanks so much.